Okay, so starting from the top, it's a 2019 Mercedes Sprinter van, cargo van, four-wheel drive, 170 wheelbase. We bought it empty, and then we built it out over the pandemic. And so I'm going to go slow because I'm trying to be thorough and get to all the good stuff. Up front here, you can see we have a bra we've put on to protect the hood from flying obstacles. Up above, you can see there's a light bar that we use for when needed. The tires and wheels have been upgraded. I'm a huge fan of these Faulkens. After trying other brands, I'd go with the Faulken Wild Peak anytime. The shock system's been upgraded by Agile Offroad Ride Improvement Package Rip Kit. Coming down the side here, we have one external LED light here. Down below, maybe the best feature on the van is the retracting step, because once you put the little bit of a lift Ride Improvement Kit on it, it can be a hike from the ground getting up in it. So this retractable step put on by Adrenaline Vans in Montrose, Colorado, is maybe one of my favorite features. It's illuminated as well. And then on the outside, the bulk of the interior was made from 80/20 aluminum. This is 1-inch aluminum. This is black hexa that I've placed in the slot in between in the extruded aluminum. That's an isotherm 5 cubic foot refrigerator. Empty right now, but it's huge. It is not a fridge, it's a fridge, which I'll admit it was a mistake, but in the end, I have my beer down below, food up on top, and we eat a lot of fresh fruit and vegetables, so having 2 refrigerators isn't a problem at all. The design criteria for this van was to be able to seat 4 adults in the front, and so that's what's shown here with the 2 front seats rotated and the bench seat there. It can service 2 adults. While we're at this angle, you can see up here I've got a shelf. I built this shelf and installed it, but took the next step. Super high-end stereo system, 6 speakers in the front overhead, all new front speakers, door speakers, power amp, subwoofer under the seat here, and a power amp back over behind that seat. So high fidelity is super important to us, and so we have that. The floors are cork. We'll talk about that later. That's my preferred floor material, but it feels good, looks good. But we have in-floor heat, and the cork tends to separate a little in those extremes of sub-zero and going to heated. But in-floor heat system, glycol, dual induction cooktop, very large sink. If you lived in a van much, we spent 3 months in Baja in a van. This is where you'd wash your hair, and plus it's just big enough to do real dishes. So this more black hexa here. This is my pantry. We have a little very sophisticated lock system here. Allen wrench that keeps this pantry coming out down very rough roads, which we tend to frequent. Let me see if I can put that back in. I'll set that down. Okay. We have filtered water at the sink. There we run. It's not filtered. It's a separate drinking water system. This has a submersible pump connected to it. That's our on-off switch, and that will pump water from one of 2.5 gallon drinking jugs. We went with this design because we like to fill up at the fresh water stations around the country at the grocery stores. That's 2.5 gallons. There's only one in there right now, and it has a submersible pump. But that way we can get filtered water at grocery stores wherever we go. This is a tilt-out pantry. It just has toothbrush and basically a bathroom toothbrush, toothpaste, stuff like that in here. You can put anything you want in there. We have 12-volt lights on both sides as well as down the center. Let's go back under here for a second. This is a a small trash can and our trail mix supply. And then beneath the two 2.5 gallon water tanks is a 7-gallon gray water tank. And by flipping these switches under here, I can empty that 7 gallons of gray water whenever it's a good spot to do it. So this is a pass-through doorway here that goes into the garage. Normally 2 bicycles are back in this garage, electric bikes, but currently it's being used to haul musical equipment in a recording studio. So it's in cargo mode right now. I'll show you more from that in the back. But this pass-through door is great because you can put long pieces of lumber through there, or not. We have a microwave there. This is just a toolbox that's been mounted to the floor. It has a compartment down at the bottom for hiding things. Yes, I know I just told you my hiding space, criminals. This is where we put our clothes, some clothes in large pots and pans. Top drawer is where you put your utensils. And brings us to the bed, notched for your pleasure of getting in and out. We have a ladder here, pulls out, sets up, so it's 2 steps, helps you in and out of bed. We didn't used to need that, but I've had some shoulder surgeries and don't have my shoulders for a while were in such good shape, so I needed some stairs. So that's where the ladder that helps us get in and out of the bed here. It's almost a full king-size bed. It's the full width. It's 6 foot 6 inches long, so very long. And it was back there. There's little accessory bags there. I'll show you more about that little van hack. Insulated side windows, bunk windows on both sides, so you can let the cool air go through. Turn on the fan here, accessible from right while you're laying in bed or via our remote here. So you can get a good cross breeze and get either exhaust or blow the air out or suck the cold air in, or whatever you want. These are just hanging bags from who is that, RGB or anyway, RB Components. These are just heavy duty bags. We put usually like clothes we take off at night, we can go in there. We also stuff window comforters, insulating comforters in these. This one on this side. We have another lagoon table here. We have one in the front, and then we have one here at the back. And with this table, you can utilize it to. It can go back and use it to be for your. Oops, got my handle out there. Use it to watch, put your tablet or your laptop here and watch movies at night, or you can articulate it around here and it creates almost like another shelf here. Very handy apparently for doing putting on your makeup, taking out your contacts, or just a double shelf space. You have this shelf space down here, and then you have this one up here if it's rotated this way, but it can store back there out of the way. Write these down. Lagoon tables, use them frequently and often. Okay, so the thermostat for the heating system's here. You just set it and forget it. That one system does your hot water, your hot floor, and your hot air. Hot air, it blows out from a register right down here until the floor heats up, and then that fan goes off. This bench seat here has let's move this over here for a second. This side of the bench seat is the heating system. Expansion reservoir, and that, like I say, runs the hot water to the all the to used in the entire van is there, as well as the heat exchanger for the floor. It circulates the hot water glycol through the floor, and then creates hot air as well through a heat exchanger down there. The center compartments here is a camera gear compartment. We have large DSLR cameras, and we store them in there. As you can see, this is asymmetrical. That way down there it's taking up less floor space than it is at this end. So and this is designed so you could put a shower here, but we opted for no shower because we just like the wide open design of it all. So, but this is big enough. This the design criteria here is so you can sit here comfortably, rotate this around, and work or play. As it would in my case, play, not work. We have matching slider, AMA sliders on both sides here with a screen in it. AMA slider on that side, but that door's slid back. Up above there, up above the storage shelf up here, that we store clothes, overnight kit, other soft items up there. Now, geez, I think this might almost conclude the internal review of the van. But see how that lagoon table can service those two tables, those two places, or where I'm sitting, or you can sit here and eat right across here as well. So it's just absolutely wonderful layout. We've had multiple vans, and we finally feel like we've pretty much dialed it for our needs. We're in a Samsung tablet there in the front, so we can navigate with that and have a nice big screen for navigation. And like I said, high-end stereo. The stereo is basically just uses a radio and interface. It's all the stock speakers have been replaced. All around the dash they've been replaced. The tweeters and the door speakers. That brings me to another thing. One of the first things we ever did in this van was, when it was empty, was to use what's called lizard skin, and it's a coating that goes on the bare metal. I don't think you can even see any. Yeah, I think you can back in there. It's textured when it's done, but it's an acoustic and thermal barrier, and the entire side of the van was coated with the lizard skin, 6 layers. In the end, it's a thermal insulation ceramic barrier, thermal barrier, and so that keeps the van either hot or cold better, depending on what you're shooting for. Basically, doesn't let the heat transfer or the cold transfer as easily. And I can tell you the van it's an acoustic barrier, so it's very quiet. So this van rolling down the road has no squeaks, 0 sound. That was number one criteria. We're audiophiles, and we don't like squeaky, noisy vans. This thing is dead silent, and it stays warm or it stays cool really well because of that thermal lizard skin barrier and either 1.5 to 3 inches of thin silhouette behind in the ceiling and on the walls as well. Okay, let's go check out the outside. Don't forget to follow us, like or follow us here. Can you see that on all that? I watched this van yesterday, but that's what summer in the Rockies. There's a license plate of some of the national parks we've been to. We've been to many. So starting in the back of the garage here, we have these are shoe holders that you put on the back of a door and just secured with a metal strap up there. Bring down, all of these are used. It just so happens this one's above the top level in our bed, so that at night we have a place to set our glasses and phone and whatnot. We have 2 overhead lights up here. They're dimmable and have red light, so if the red light's better for you just to see where you're going, but not make your eyes dilate. So there's the storage on that side. Here's our storage on this side. Like I said earlier, 6'6" long bed, full width of the van. I'll never have to crawl across a partner again, ever. So here's our air compressor so we can air up and down. Right here we store all of our biking. Usually there's 2 backpacks here, biking backpacks, 2 helmets, and biking accessories hang there. Right here's our hot and cold shower. Hot and cold water out the back, and you just can hang a curtain between these 2 points here if you want. But usually where we camp there's no one, so we don't have to even worry about that. There's a 22-gallon freshwater tank here over the wheel well. There's our water gauge, and so then there's some storage back in there. And on the other side of that is the hot water heater. It doesn't run off electricity. It simply stores the hot water created by our diesel. S-bar heater and stores it there and uses the thermostat in that device so that it knows. That's how you control your water temperature that you store it at, is using the thermostat on that. But that's the only thing it's used on, is the thermostat, not the heating element. So on the right back there is our awning and tent storage. This is laundry that comes down through underneath the bed. I should have showed you that. Great VanLife hack there. Back there behind that yellow bag is a DC to 60 amp DC to DC charge controller coming off our alternator. That's a 3,000 watt Victron inverter. And here's our power distribution center for 12 and 24 volt. Sorry, 12 volt and 120 volt systems there. Main battery disconnect, little battery monitor there. Although I do all the monitoring and controlling using the apps on my phone or my tablet. Renogy 60 amp solar charge controller. Have 600 watts of solar on top. Inside this compartment here, underneath this heater, stove are four 170 amp hour lithium Renogy batteries, and then we can have a 110 outlet here to charge one e-bike here, and we have another 110 outlet here to charge the other e-bike we're going down the road. This drawer slides in and out. It's a 500-pound rated drawer slides. I guess that's what you'd call it, but I don't think I can do this with one hand. Both these little knobs have to be pulled out, so doing it with one hand is... Oh, I got it. Okay, there we go. So under there right now is a giant pile of musical equipment, speakers, monitors, and guitars. So this van can also be used as a gigging van, as it is being shown today. But normally bicycles, 2 bicycles set down the middle of this drawer. Okay, well, that's that. Of course, it came with a tow hitch. I think that's pretty much the extent of the van. I'll show you the S-bar heater here that sips diesel and creates all the hot water and air you could ever need. Right down under here. We also have an extended range fuel tank. I don't know if you can see it there. I can't see the camera, but we had I think it's a 49-gallon fuel tank we installed and replaced the 22-gallon. So that's the rig. It's not very fancy, but it's super tough, big bones, warm in the winter, cool in the summer. Ride improvement package, Infloor heat. We paid for a few things, had the windows and fan put in by a professional. But other than that, we did the rest ourselves. Pretty proud of it. Anyway, we just got back from the Baja about a month ago. It served us well for 80 days on the Baja. It currently has 40,000 miles on it. Like I said earlier, 2019 four-wheel drive Sprinter van 170. But that's about it. Oh, Shore Power. We can plug in here and charge your battery if you never need to, but if you're at a campground, you can sure plug in there. And a little side step, we had that installed. Then these Wild Peak tires, I can't say enough about them. Method 301 race wheels down there. And on the sides of the tires, somebody will of course ask that, and you know all about that till 10 minutes after you installed them, and then you don't know about that. It's right there, the side. So whatever that says, Wild Peak. Anyway, they're a little bigger, but they're not so big. Did have to cut out this wheel well, just about an inch worth right there for the slightly larger tires. Said the bra. But other than that, she's a stock rig. Never had a minute's problem. Like at 40,000 miles, 0 issues. I think there's a light like this in the back. I didn't show you that exterior light back there mounted at the rear. You can turn on. Anyway, that's the rig. Hope you enjoyed the tour. A little spot here. The stash of shoes. There's that. Very comfy rig. Very roomy. Very open because of the no vertical shower stalls or overhead cabinets. Okay, guys. Hope you have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.